Good morning. I'm Steve Runyon, and I will be your Sunday associate today. Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, where we covenant to weave together the fabric of community from the strands of separate lives. We are an inclusive, welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We adhere to the principles of Unitarian Universalism, which you can find on the back of your order of service. Actually, that's no longer true. Sorry, I'm working from old notes here. But there are some cards, I think, in the backs of the chairs in front of you, if anybody's interested. There is also should also be a newcomer card in the back of the chair there if you're looking for that, if we have anybody new here. Please feel free to take any of that with you. This is a great time to silence any noise-making devices. So a reminder for all of us, I need to check my phones too. And we will now commence our morning worship with some announcements. So to start out, over here, next to the patio there are a lot of hostas, and those need to go. So if you are looking for some free hostas, please check out those over there. They're right in around the patio over there. You know the brick patio over to the side? Oh, hostas. It's a plant. Okay. No. It's a lovely plant that deer really, really like a lot. So if you need to replace your hostas at home, if you have any, this is a good place to get them. Okay. The powder room back there will be done soon. So I think you may have seen a picture in this week's newsletter. So that's going to be done soon, and the roof is also going to be starting soon. And there will be more announcements made about the roof as those become available, because obviously we don't want anything falling on anybody. As you can see from this beautiful unstained carpet, it has been deep cleaned now. So let's try to, keep the coffee off it for as long as we can. And finally, today is the last service led by our summer minister, Alia Shinbrough. Alia is a candidate for UU ministry, a graduate of Harvard Divinity School, and they are passionate about the potential for religious life to help us all get a little more free. After this summer, Alia will be serving as Minister for Queer Liberation at the Bayard Rustin Center for Social Justice.
Will you join me now to say in unison the words of our chalice lighting by James Villablake? Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you.
Will you rise in body or spirit and join in our opening song number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, 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 whoever you are. Wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. We're going to sing it 3 times. Come, come, whoever you are. Keep going. Come, come, whoever you are. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, let's pray. Come, come, whoever you are. One more time. Come, whoever you are. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come.
That was wonderful, wasn't it? Always good to, get the blood flowing with a little bit of song. Yes, it does. So for our Time for All Ages today, I want to share these adapted words from the Reverend Gary Kowalski. They're titled, "It's Not What You Believe, But How." Babies don't believe anything. Babies aren't born Buddhists or Baptists or believers of any sort. But soon after we arrive in the world, we start to gather ideas. We pick up beliefs and ideas about people and animals and families. We collect ideas about stars and comets and how it all got started. We accumulate beliefs about good and bad, right and wrong, what's healthy and unhealthy, and what is important in life. All these beliefs, which we get from our parents and our playmates, from the TV and from Sunday school, they all go in our belief bag. Now, most religions define themselves by what they believe or what's inside their belief bag. Many Christians, for instance, believe in Jesus. Muslims believe in Allah and in the Prophet Muhammad. Buddhists believe in the 4 Noble Truths. But Unitarian Universalists don't have just one set of beliefs. What makes us different is the way that we Unitarian Universalists carry our beliefs, because there are different ways of holding your belief bag. For example, some people hold their bag like this. They clutch it close and make sure that the top is tightly sealed, because they don't want their beliefs exposed to any new ideas that could threaten what's inside. They've got their world wrapped up in a nice, tidy package. And because their bag is all closed up, we call these people closed-minded. On the other hand, some people are just the opposite. They don't pay much attention to all of what goes into their bag. One idea is as good as another, and if folks believe it, or if they read it on the internet, or they heard it on talk radio, then it must be true. Because they carry their bag in such a sloppy manner, we call these people sloppy thinkers. And then there are people who carry their bags like this, like a club they use to hit other people. What's inside their bag might sound very nice and sweet. For instance, I believe in peace and kindness and the golden rule, but they use their bag like a weapon. You don't believe in peace? Why, you nasty person, shame on you. But none of those is the Unitarian Universalist way. Instead, we carry our bags like this. We carry them with the top open so that new ideas and experiences can get inside, and old beliefs can be tossed aside if needed. We carry our bags in front of us so that we can see and examine what goes in to be sure that it makes sense and fits with other things we know. And also so that we can see what our neighbors think and share our thoughts with others. Above all, we never use our beliefs to beat up or bully other people. That's what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. The next time somebody asks you, what do the people in your church believe? You can tell them. For Unitarian Universalists, it's less important what you believe than how you hold your beliefs. It's how you acquire them, how you share them, and above all, what you do with them that counts.
Will you rise in body or spirit and join in our next hymn, number 22, Dear Weaver of Our Lives' Design. Dear weaver of our lives' design, whose patterns all obey, with skillful fingers gently guide the sturdy threads that will survive the tangle of our days. Take up
This is the time in our service which we set aside to honor those milestones and passages that shape the lives of this community as they are held and honored by individual congregants. Today, I was not given any milestones, but I want to say for me, it has been such a joy and a pleasure to meet you all and to lead services with you this summer, to see you in classes and pastoral care. It's been a real pleasure, and I will not forget this experience. I'm sure there are other milestones in the room which are unspoken, so I'd like to invite you to take a deep breath with me to honor what goes unshared today. Where there is grief, may there also be space for gratitude. Where there is suffering, may there also be compassion. Where there is joy, may there be celebration. May all that is shared here strengthen the commitments and connections of this community.
Our offertory today is split 50-50 with the Interfaith Food Pantry. The reading today is Found While Lost by the Reverend Eric W. Martinez Resley. The beauty of the world is the mouth of a labyrinth, writes Simone Weil. We would be foolish not to follow its call, and so we enter the labyrinth, lured by the whiff of a dream still in the making, the possibility of a new relationship, the promise of a new career, the potential for a new beginning. We can never be sure what we will find once inside, but this much is certain. There are times when the beauty of the world, and with it the entrance to the labyrinth, unexpectedly disappear. Some relationships will disintegrate, some careers will dissatisfy, some beginnings will disappoint. Unable to find the labyrinth's opening, we often find ourselves in frantic search of an escape, fumbling for the next step, tiring ourselves out in the process. Disheartened, dispirited, we feel disoriented. We get lost. The question is not whether we will get lost in life, but rather how we will move through it in faith. Will we dwell on everything that we have lost, or will we focus instead on everything that we have yet to find? As it happens, there is much that awaits us in our lostness. Much to be excavated, examined, even exalted. In not yet knowing what will be, we are afforded the opportunity to appreciate what already is, the things hiding in plain sight. A frayed relationship, for example, may reveal our deeper needs. An unfulfilling career may motivate us to seek out a mentor. A misstart or a misstep may remind us of our own fragile humanity. It may claw open our hearts and sensitize us to the suffering of others. When lost, perhaps the greatest question our faith asks of us is this: how will we be found? Once the time is right, the stars align, and the way begins to open, will we be ready to embrace the mystery anew? Will we choose to trust anew, to risk anew, to hope anew? Will we allow ourselves to yet again be drawn in, swept up, taken over by that magic that makes life worth living?
I'm going to invite you to join in our next song in a second, but it's a 4-part hymn, and I think it's a little unfair to have so much of the choir sitting in one place, don't you? So choir folks, if you feel like it, if you feel like scattering to the corners a bit, that would be lovely. If you don't feel like it, that's okay too. You're off duty today, so it's voluntary. Each line happens twice, no matter what you do. We're going to sing it line by line, twice each time, and then we'll split into groups, and then you'll just sing your same part over and over. Here we go. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Back to the top. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? That's you guys. Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Over and over. Where are we going? Where do we come from? You all are the next line. Where are we? It's going great. Where do we come from? Where do we come? Beautiful. Keep going. Mystery. mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery, mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Keep going. You're going to sing your line 3 more times. Ready? Last time. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going?
Thank you, Stearns, for always being willing to lead around. So much fun.
I'm willing to try.
All right. Hey, I think that was beautiful. So there is a sticker that lives on my parents' fridge at their home, which I see nearly every time I visit them. Perhaps you've seen one like it. It proclaims Unitarian Universalist because love-centered, justice-focused, truth-seeker takes even longer to say. I love this sticker. It never fails to make me smile, but it also challenges me. Because, of course, the joke is about how long it takes to say Unitarian Universalist, when perhaps what we mean by this is no longer exclusively located in either of these terms from earlier eras of our living tradition, rooted in our Christian history. And it challenges me because, of course, Unitarian Universalists do not have a lock on centering love, on focusing on justice, or even on seeking truth. And I wish us better recognition of our allies in this work. And finally, the sticker challenges me because it makes no mention of what I believe is at the center of our truth-seeking, our justice-focusing, and our love-centering. It makes no mention of faith. This is a word that undergirds our deepest held values, but is nonetheless conspicuously absent from the language of our 7 and perhaps soon to be 8 principles, and from the 6 sources of our living tradition. Now, I'm sure for some of you in the room, faith may be a bit of an uncomfortable word, or a word that's simply absent from your personal lexicon of meaning-making. For others, it might also be a word that's really welcoming to hear from the pulpit, a word that speaks to what brought you here this morning. In her book, Faith, Trusting Your Own Deepest Experience, Buddhist teacher Sharon Salzberg writes, "Faith enables us, despite our fear, to get as close as possible to the truth of the present moment, so that we can offer our hearts fully to it with integrity. We might, and often must, hope and plan and arrange and try, but faith enables us to be fully engaged while also realizing that we are not in control and that no strategy can ever put us in control of the unfolding of events. Faith gives us a willingness to engage life, which means the unknown, and not to shrink back from it." I have spoken to you before of the beauty I find in our living tradition, in the wide-ranging sources of our shared faith, the strength in our diversity, and the hope and potential for growth and for transformation, which I feel rests in the variety of beliefs and practices and rituals and celebrations we may explore individually and share in communities like this one. Today, as we consider how we weave and wonder our way into a sustaining faith for the times we live in, I want to lift up our fourth UU principle for your particular attention. You've probably heard it before, but this is the principle that calls on us to commit ourselves to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Many times, our wondering and weaving the threads of our lives with the threads of all life, our searching and our seeking for spiritual truth leads us to more questions rather than definite answers. As UUs, I think it's our responsibility to make space for curiosity, for exploration, for discovery, reconnection, and evolution in our spiritual lives. It's our responsibility to engage in our search for meaning with integrity, which means we must pay special attention to recognize distinct belief systems in our pluralistic context and notice how we hold those beliefs, as well as the power dynamics and issues of injustice and oppression that may arise when navigating spiritual diversity in community. It's our responsibility to respect the legitimacy of viewpoints and perspectives that honor spiritual truths beyond our comprehension and even in contradiction to the ones we hold as our own. Most importantly, it's our responsibility to respect the people who hold views different from our own, and especially to support their self-determination and spiritual development as we would hope they in turn respect ours. We commit to this work of spiritual solidarity, even when this does not lead us to feel sure-footed about our place in the universe, or permanently secure in our religious understanding. Even when this does not quiet any of the questions that maybe keep us up at night, so beautifully expressed in our hymn just now. Where do we come from? Who are we? Where are we going? Our spiritual journeys may take us places we do not expect and may trace paths we'd never choose for ourselves. But we will journey on those paths in connection with each other, expressing solidarity together within families, among congregations, and even across religious traditions, sometimes alongside companions with whom we amiably disagree. We will not travel these paths in certainty or even in comfort, but imperfectly and with exquisite care. This weekend is Rosh Chodesh Elul, where many Jews, including Jewish UUs around the world, mark entering the month of Elul, the season of turning and the final month of the Jewish calendar, leading up to the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the days of awe. Elul is a time for practicing teshuvah, the work of return and repair. Reflecting on entering the season of turning, Rabbi Monica Gomery writes, the root of teshuvah means to go back, to come back, to return, to repent. By doing teshuvah, the work of repair and return, we circle back to right action and to our values. Like the refrain of a meditation teacher, teshuvah invites us to come back to center, where we've strayed from who we really are. Community care practitioner, ritual leader, and liberation worker Dory Midnight echoes the sentiment in a recent newsletter, writing, Elul is a mirror, or maybe more like a moon, illuminating and reflecting, reminding us of our own radiance. Ani la dodi v'dodi li. I see the moon, and the moon sees me. I am beloved, and the beloved loves me. This is not self-improvement work, which assumes our insufficiency. This is about accepting the possibility that there might not be anything wrong with us. So much of spiritual discernment requires us to trust in our own intuition, to believe in our own legitimacy, even when others would contradict such beliefs and when we feel lost in the proverbial wilderness, and to keep our hearts open to truth arriving unexpectedly and sometimes on an unpredictable schedule. As religious seekers, we commit to following where the path leads, even and especially into the fearful unknown, to turn towards life and return to life through heartbreak, and to weave the threads of your journey into the larger tapestry of our collective futures, not yet set in motion. Rabbi Gomery reflects, living in late-stage capitalism means that something is ending, something is beginning, and our future is unclear. As I look out around me, I can tell that 10, 20, or 30 years from now, much of the world as I've come to know it will be unrecognizable to me. Amid such chaotic motion, with the structures surrounding us in a state of collapse, what is return? How do we drop anchor into our own soul while the external world spins wildly beyond what we know? We are called to honor the multiple avenues by which people experience the sacred and invite spirituality into their lives. This, of course, includes our own Unitarian Universalist people, as well as people of many religious traditions, multiple spiritual affiliations, and none at all. We are called to approach and seek truth and meaning in this time of great turning. We are called to expand our knowledge and increase our compassion for each other as we navigate these great changes, this relentless motion and unmooring of old structures once thought immovable. We are called to practice our faith by being awake to the realities of our present moment without being swept away by them. The test of our faith will not be what beliefs we hold or don't, nor whether we can overcome doubt, as we know doubt is often part and parcel of the journey, but how instead our faith will meet us in the valleys of loss, in grief, and crisis, and give us strength and inspiration to continue through these heartbreaks, to dig deep and claim our wholeness despite them. To do so, we will need to measure the strength of our commitments by how well we show up for and support each other. We will need to measure the potency of our values by how our theologies and cosmologies will evolve, shift, and transform upon contact with the truth of our shared circumstances. We are called to attend to the suffering in our midst and the suffering beyond our doors, to work to shape communities of healing which honor the dignity and worth of each individual and our mutual interconnection with this larger web of existence. Actress Jennifer Beals has put it this way: every single thing is narrative. Our understanding of things is a narrative. It's the narrative of who's in power. It's the narrative of the person in the bodega down the street. What is the story that I'm telling myself? Am I telling myself the story that my teachers told me that I was? Am I telling myself the story that my parents told me I was? How do I come to the narrative that serves my highest good? Our stories are still being written. As you use, we are inheritors of beliefs that revelation, the unfolding and unveiling of truth, is not sealed, not contained in a single book or a closed canon of a single scripture, or held by a single religious tradition, or revealed by a single arbiter of wisdom. Revelation is ongoing, and wisdom that will serve us in this time is emerging from all sorts of different unexpected places, each and every moment we live through. We are called to recognize wisdom when we experience it, whatever the source, and to honor the wisdom and truth we can grow and witness in each other. And though sometimes we do not talk about it for fear of emphasizing the negative, we are called to work against some professions of truth which are clever lies or complete falsehoods, to counter dishonest narratives which mean to disavow reality and consolidate power against needed tides of change, including those which mask their toxicity in the language of love while relying on the currency of violence. We must interrogate and reject those beliefs that insist on the superiority of one or some over the interconnected whole, or which promote the greed and profit of a few at the expense of the many. For our spiritual seeking to be truly responsible as well as truly free, I believe we must strive to become more culturally sensitive and more religiously literate, operating from a place of deep respect and curiosity as we learn through encountering beliefs and practices of other traditions, and crucially, as we center the people who are shaped by and shaping those traditions in the present and into our future. In An Altar in the World, Geographies of Faith, an Episcopal priest, the Reverend Barbara Brown Taylor, tells a story that illustrates this well. She writes, "Many years ago now, a wise old priest invited me to come speak at his church in Alabama. 'What do you want me to talk about?' I asked him. 'Come tell us what is saving your life now,' he answered. It was as if he had swept his arm across a dusty table and brushed all the formal china to the ground. I did not have to try to say correct things that were true for everyone. All I had to do was figure out what my life depended on. The answers I gave all those years ago are not the same as the answers I would give today. That is the beauty of the question. But the principle is the same. What is saving my life right now is the conviction that there is no spiritual treasure to be found apart from the bodily experience of human life on earth. My life depends on engaging the most ordinary physical activities with the most exquisite attention I can give them. My life depends on ignoring all touted distinctions between the secular and the sacred, the physical and the spiritual, the body and the soul. What is saving my life right now is becoming more fully human, trusting that there is no way to spirit apart from real life in the real world." What a quote. Our free and responsible search for truth and meaning requires us to seek a faith that meets this moment, spiritual teachings that address the times we actually live in and help us to bridge the challenges we face in our daily lives. Hunger, disease, fear, addiction, strife, disconnection, soaring costs of living, and shortages of basic staples, loss, grief, despair, distrust, threats to democracy, and our fundamental rights to choose our futures, to name just a few. And yet, even with all these challenges, it is our responsibility to return to who we are despite them. What tapestry of faith will we weave together to see us through these times of uncertainty and change? What rituals will we initiate to mark the transitions of our lives from what we had come to expect and possibilities that are now closed before us, and instead opening towards the futures we'll co-create in their place? How might we renew the promise of our Universalist ancestors, transforming the pain of this world into the promise of universal salvation by better recognizing what saves us in this life, if not the next? In the spirit of exploring better questions rather than seeking definite answers, I want to conclude today with a poem from Rainer Maria Rilke, translated by Joanna Macy. It's titled "Widening Circles." I live my life in widening circles that reach out across the world. I may not complete this one, but I give myself to it. I circle around God, around the primordial tower. I've been circling for thousands of years, and still, I don't know. Am I a falcon, a storm, or a great song? Amen.
Please join in our closing song, number 123, Spirit of Life.
For our benediction, I want to share with you these words from the Reverend Gretchen Haley, titled Surrender to This Life. Give up the fight for some other moment, some other life than here and now. Give up the longing for some other world, the wishing for other choices to make, other songs to sing, other bodies, other ages, other countries, other stakes. Purge the past, forgive the future, for each come too soon. Surrender only to this life, this day, this hour, not because it does not constantly break your heart, but because it also beckons with beauty, startles with delight, if only we keep waking up. This is the gift that we have been given. These body clothes, this heartbreak, this pulse, this breath, this light, these friends, this hope. Here we remember ourselves, all a part of it, giving thanks together. Thank you all.